Hi everyone, welcome to Training in the Trenches with Anisha Derora. This is the June 11th speed lower workout, and boy, did I have an attitude. I was determined in the Monday and Wednesday training sessions, this was Friday, the Wednesday training sessions, that I was going to come into this with a positive attitude, that I was going to embrace loving the squat, and that I was going to put in the work to get comfortable at depth so that I could find it more easily and work through the things that I needed to work through, because I have a lot to work on the squat, which is not a bad thing. But, you know, for a speed day, we work on force production and form perfection. We want the first set to move as fast as the last set. And that takes a lot of work, but it also takes a mental form. So there's the physical form, but your mental form needs to be there too. And mine was not. If you watch some of my sets, you can see the look on my face. And Jaron called me on this, and I appreciated it. He's like, "What were you thinking? Because your face changes from here to here." And it did. And I wasn't aware of it until he called me on it. That's what a good training partner does, right? They call you on the things that maybe are slipping your attention. And what was going on is my form was off, so my knees and my hips were hurting, and I knew I wasn't hitting depth the way I wanted to, so I was disappointed, and inside I was beating myself up, saying, "See, you'll never master the squat." And it wasn't conscious thinking, I wasn't choosing the thoughts, but that's the thing. You can choose your thoughts if you will be aware of your thoughts. And so as Jaron coached me through some of that, the making me aware of my thoughts, and the form things, I made a decision that I needed to make a change. I needed to change my attitude. And then he did something. He used a cue, an example, and he cut his example short, but it actually worked in my brain in the weirdest possible way. And it may not work in anyone else's brain, but it worked for mine. See, I love the bench, and I understand the mechanics of the tension in the bench and where to put the tension and how to get explosive off the bottom. I get that. It makes sense in my brain. And he briefly said, it's doing the squat and getting that force is like the bench press when you're going down and you're building tension and then you fire up. And he kind of left it there and switched and gave me different cueing things, but that made sense to me. I understood what that meant, and in understanding that, I started to equate the squat to the bench. And when I did that, I started to see how I could enjoy the squat. Which, I mean, all of that may sound really funny, but there was a distinct shift. All of a sudden, I was walking up to the bar saying, "I am a 400-pound squatter. There's only 100 pounds here. I can move this, I can move it well, and I can move it quickly. I enjoy this process because I understand it." And you'll see my confidence improved a little, my form improved some. I was really working hard to stop getting up on my toes and to start in my heels, and it made a difference. Yes, it was harder, but the story I was telling myself was different, and it was better. In this last set, you'll see me walk up and put my hands on the edge of the bar. And what I'm doing there is I'm saying, I enjoy the squat. This is the lightest weight I've ever squatted. This is going to fly. The same things I would tell myself if I was grabbing hold of the bench bar, because that's one of the things I do. I always express gratitude for just a split second that I'm a good bencher, that the weight flies. And I'd never done that on the squat until today, and it made a tremendous difference in my attitude and in and my form. So mental form is very important, and I need to remember that and remain aware. Not just aware of environment, but aware of what I'm thinking. And I need to take control of my thoughts going forward. Now, happily, because my attitude changed, I had a ton of fun doing the deadlifts. And I've never deadlifted side by side with Jaren as my rest period. So doing what we were doing was just, it was very enjoyable. It was nice. A speed day with speed pulls is exciting for me. And one of the things I used to enjoy about it, working out with a crew, is there's something about having someone else go and then you go immediately. They go and you go immediately. There's just something about it that's nice. I figured out something in this, and I learned it on the last training session with deadlifts about triangles and how if you see the triangle here of my body, you'll notice I have more power, I have more strength from that position, and I can breathe in that position. It's the first time doing my deadlifts that I've nailed this triangle position and really understood why it works, where the force is coming from. It was just a lot of fun. And I think we ended up actually pulling like 11 instead of 10. But it was just a lot of fun. It wouldn't have been fun if I hadn't changed my mental form on the squats, because I still would have been in that mindset of everything hurts, nothing's moving, I can't do this. And I don't know, if you go to the gym and you go in with an attitude that I don't belong here, I can't do everything that everyone else can do, I'm not as strong as everybody else, this is going to take forever, all of those kinds of things, telling yourself you don't enjoy it but you're going to power through it anyway, they're counterproductive. They set you up with a weak mental form. And you need strong mental form if you're going to maximize your training sessions. How do you change your mental form? Let's talk about awareness. Are you aware of what you're thinking when you walk through the door of the gym? Are you aware of where your head's at, where your heart's at? What are you feeling emotionally? When you become aware and when you're willing to embrace that awareness, that's when you can stop the thoughts and tell yourself a different story. And it's important to be willing to do that. It's important to change the story. I'm not saying lie to yourself. When I got under the bar and told myself, I'm a 400-pound squatter, I believe that. Have I ever hit 400? No, not yet. I've stood up 3, but I know that when my form is right, I will hit 4, and that's my goal. And so I'm telling myself something I have data for. Jaren is my coach. He's already told me I'm a 400-pound squatter. I believe it. And so I need to align my thinking with that, because I can't be a 400-pound squatter and have the kind of form mentally and physically that I had this morning in this training session. And so there is something to the training of the mind, training the emotions, telling yourself the truth. And the truth is, your body was made to move. It was made to be strong. It was made to move heavy things. And that's an okay thing to tell yourself. It doesn't matter if you're 80, 90, 100 pounds overweight and you're just starting, or if you're in the best shape of your life. Your body was made to move. And you have the option to tell yourself that story. And it's an important story to tell, and being mentally aware of your form, the form of your thoughts, is just as important as being aware of your physical form. So I just want to encourage you in that. It's a big deal. And changing the story made a huge difference. I'm doing this voice recording a week after having done this particular workout, so I've had my max effort lower. Everything I learned in this training session improved my max lower significantly. And it did it because I was willing to be aware of my thoughts and change them. And I made a discovery. In this workout, I realized that I prepare differently for a lower body workout than I do for an upper body. My morning is different. On an upper body, I get up a little earlier, I take a good walk, I have a good breakfast early, I spend more time in prayer, more time in the Word, and I make sure that I am not rushed at any point in my morning. When I leave the house, I've got a certain playlist that I play on the way to the gym that encourages me and gets my mindset right. And as I'm driving and listening to music that I really enjoy, that's fun, that's upbeat, I'm also visualizing my bench. And I'm visualizing how it's going to move. How much weight do I want to get on the bar? On a speed day, obviously, I know how much I'm going to get on the bar. On a max day, I've got a picture in my head of the weight I want on the bar and how it moves. But on a speed day or a lower body day, I wasn't doing that. I was sleeping a little later. I was getting out of bed slower. I was rushing my morning, and I didn't necessarily take the time to eat or eat something that I knew would fuel my training session. And I realized that in this training session and talking to Jaron, and so I made that adjustment as well. You know, our mental attitudes, and that goes back to mental form again. My mental form was, I don't have to prepare as much for something I don't like, but I'll put in all the time and effort I need for something I enjoy. And I realized if I'm going to enjoy my lower body training sessions, I need to give myself the same preparation that I do for my upper body workouts. And you'll see it when I post my June 18th training session. Huge change in my posture, my position, and in my mental framework. And it was significantly different. Best squats I've ever done. But I had to become aware of what was going on in this training session so I could make those changes going forward. And that's a big part of training. Doing an assessment at the end and saying, hey, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What areas need improvement so that the next session will be better than this one? And Jaron and I do that. We do it throughout, but we also do it at the end, just a quick recap. And it's helpful and it's important. And it feeds into the cycle that we use for Defy, which is awareness, intent, tension, integrity, capacity, and rest. Very important overlay. I use it in almost everything, but it is the rest and the celebration at the end of the training session, and the celebration is our recap. But the recap allows for rest. You've looked at it, you've thought about it, you're going to make changes going forward, and that leads you to a place where you can rest in what you learned in that training session. And every training session has something that you can take away from it, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, or social. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was an interesting training session and probably one of my harder but more impactful sessions. Have a great day, and I will talk to you next time. This has been Training in the Trenches with Anisha Aurora. If you haven't already, I invite you to click subscribe now so you don't miss a single episode. For more of my content, visit StrongerAtRest.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter and receive exclusive posts not shared in other places. This episode is brought to you by Cenacle TV, Vitality Education on Demand. There, Jaron and I equip you to defy the status quo. Define vitality for yourself based on your own identity and values. Develop the capacity to live the truths you discover out loud and be deployed into your families, workplaces, and communities in the fullness of who you were created to be. Enjoy a free 1-week trial as well as half off your first month by using promo code STRONGER at Rest.